Good day, everyone. This is CEN Second Take Sports Talk with Ronnie Roberts, and I'm your moderator, Rashaki Maskani. And this is our fourth time being here, and the playoffs has been interesting. We've been talking about the NBA playoffs, and the last one we did, we had a Laker rant. I mean, they were going in on the Lakers. So it takes a turn on its own. We start off talking about one thing, then we go to another, but it's been good. I enjoy it. So we have Brother Mshinda here. I'm like I said, I'm Rashaki Maskani, and we got Brother Ronnie here. That's our lead commentary person. So we're gonna turn it over to him. All right, thanks for your time, Brother Roberts. Let's go with this. What's up with these playoffs? Let's talk about it.
These playoffs are really something. As you said, good afternoon, everyone, or good morning for those of you on the West Coast. It's 12:06 here in Oklahoma City, I guess 10:06 in LA. As Rashaki said, our last Second Take Sports Edition devolved into a diatribe and an extended discussion about my LA Lakers, my first basketball love. From college, which spans over 50 years, going on 60 years, and the state of the Lakers was literally the main topic outside of the playoffs per se. At that point, the Lakers were still in it, or were about to be eliminated, as we all knew. The Lakers are going to continue to be in the news. They're the NBA leading franchise in terms of they have one less championship than the Celtics. They're in the largest media market in the world. They have ostensibly the biggest star in the NBA in LeBron James. The Lakers will continue to be an item of interest for all basketball purists and then basketball fans. The NBA is not the NBA without the Lakers, no question about it. The current iteration of the Lakers is currently watching the playoffs like you and I are, which I, myself, being a longtime Laker fan, predicted for sure was going to happen to them, even though I thought they had the possibility of getting out of round one, but they got a bad matchup. And as we all know, all of us sports fans, and particularly basketball fans, any of the major sports, matchups are key. Not just ability, but matchups. As far as determining an NBA champion, I've always thought the number one thing is who's playing the best. Which good team that's there is playing the best is the most likely winner. And the second factor has always been health. And for 6 years in a row now, we have not had a repeat NBA champion. The last dynasty that probably or was even close to a dynasty that existed in the NBA was the Golden State Warriors. That core has been broken up. That core is now aged out. They added a great player in Jimmy Butler, but they don't ever have a chance to win another NBA championship without a really good young player. I think it's a good thing that we don't have dynasties in the NBA unless it's your team or your favorite team.
Quick question for you.
Sure.
Now, I know there's been talk about Giannis coming there. You don't think that would get them a championship if they got Giannis?
No.
No? Why?
No. Their key players would all be above 30. Giannis is 30 or 31. Jimmy Butler and Draymond are 35 apiece, and Steph is 37. They're all getting older. Steph, has he lost something? Probably so, but he's still top 10 player in the league. And still, to me, in my mind, I take him over any point guard in the league, even though Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is probably, at this point of his game and his career, a better option. but I'm going to take Steph if I got to. I'm just looking at a thing like the Olympics that just happened. If we were to play in the Olympics today, I'm going to start three guys over 35. I'm going to start Steph. I'm going to start LeBron. And I'm going to start KD all day long, and then we'll figure out the other two players. But those three guys are still playing at an all-star level, still playing at an all-NBA level, but they're first of all, the Hall of Famers are unusual people. Those are all of them could be included in some type of GOAT conversation, even though we ascertain on that last Laker diatribe that there is no particular GOAT. You know, there's great players. Every era has a great player. How do you say one player in one era is greater than another and another, and they never played against each other? So we kind of put that to boot, or either you have a GOAT for every era. But KD, LeBron, and Steph are exceptional. I mean, and still with the league being dominated by players under 30, if we would put together the best American team, those three guys would still be in the starting lineup. Because we don't have three guys at their positions in the league that are better, that are Americans at least. We've already ascertained that probably the 4 or 5 best players in the world are not American at this point in the game. Does anybody disagree with that?
I got you wouldn't start now? You wouldn't start Brunson over Steph?
Oh, no chance. No chance. But my counter to that, Kyle, is I want to start this playoff by saying this all back. And I said it on the last podcast. Every time I watch Jalen Brunson play, I get more respect for him. He is a terrific player. He is one of the great players in the NBA. They were discussing last night and the night before how great is he as a Knick. He's one of the all-time best Knicks ever.
Yeah.
And with what he's already done, with no title.
In 3 years. Yeah.
And the Dallas Mavericks ought to be ashamed for letting him go. that boy is just terrific. I mean, he is terrific. Like Steph early in his career, right now he's a liability on defense, and they go at him. They still go at Steph because they're little.
Yeah.
Anybody that's 6'2", anybody that's our size, they're gonna go at him just because they're small. But Steph has evolved into an even better defender than he was earlier because he's just dedicated himself to it, and hell, he got every offensive move in the game down. I still would take him over Steph. Remember, Jalen Brunson didn't even make the Olympic team.
Yeah, that's true.
And he will be in the next one. I guarantee.
Yeah, I mean, they put West. They put White. They put White in from the Celtics, and I mean that was, he should have made the Olympics. He should have made that.
An injury too.
Yeah, he was injured. He did get injured.
An injury, and he didn't. He's definitely a better player than Derek White. Derek White's a different kind of player.
Yeah,
they could have selected Jaylen Brown over Derek White, easy. But I mean, he wouldn't have got floor time just like Jason Tatum did.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they get floor time? Because they play in front of Steph. They play in front of LeBron and KD. If I'm gonna have a 3 and a 4 playing in the Olympics, it's still gonna be LeBron and KD. You disagree? All day.
No, I don't.
All day, yeah, but I agree. I would still go with Steph because he can just mess a basketball game up. I mean, he can just destroy you. He can just break you down with shot making, getting to the hoop, the gravity that he brings, and that he frees up other players to do things because you got to have 2 people looking at him at all times. That's a good comparison. I still would go with Steph, but Jalen Brunson would be his backup.
Yeah.
No question about it. No question about it.
I would go with Brunson now because he controls more of the offense. The ball is more in his hand. Like Steph plays off ball. Right now he's more in that Reggie Miller role. Like running off screens, and they're looking for me, back cuts and pin downs, all these things. But Brunson is like, I'm initiating the offense from whatever, from the top of the key, from the side, from all these different positions now that he offensively, and he was guarding Tatum. He did guard Tatum a lot in that in the series before
He was
Tatum
in front
was
of Tatum. He wasn't guarding him. He was in front of him.
there.
He was just in front of him. Because he is not a good defender at all.
Okay.
At all. Because he's quick, and they don't call him big body Brunson for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, just like Luka and those guys like that, they don't have the lateral quickness to play good defense. And same thing with Jalen Brunson. He will never be a good defender. But, you know, it's more to being a defender than just being able to keep your man in front of you, playing the passing lanes, giving number one thing, like Rigo would always tell you, effort. You got to want to play defense. You got to want to stop the man in front of you. And Steph has that DNA, I think, in his DNA, and he's gotten better because he's gotten stronger. The same thing with Brunson. I think Brunson will improve on defense. He's still a young cat, man. I think he will get better because Steph is lousy in his 20s.
Yeah.
Defense. He's gotten better as he's gotten older. But yeah, Brunson, man, Jalen Brunson, you know, you're looking at the playoffs right now. Jesus, with the guys that's left, man, he's played as well as anybody. And I'm talking about Jokic, I'm talking about Shea, I'm talking about Ant-Man. Jalen Brunson, at this point, has been the MVP in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, New York Knicks, you got to think about, look at this lineup that's left. We got Oklahoma City and Denver playing tomorrow, which I'll be at the game. Whoever wins that game will be going up against Minnesota.
Yeah.
Now, if it's Oklahoma City versus Minnesota, and then the Knicks versus Indiana, we got a first-time champion in 50 years.
Yeah.
Last champion was the New York Knicks in 1973. So we're talking, and that certainly would be the league favorite to advance. And the league wants the Knicks to go as far as possible just because of the marketing involved.
Yeah.
And the rest of the teams are small market teams. Oklahoma City, Minnesota, Indiana, those are small market teams. Even Denver. Now, Denver would be a repeat champ if they were to get in.
Yeah.
So we're looking at a historic NBA playoff scenario. We talked about the things that are really key for winning NBA championships, the good teams that are left that are playing the best. Some would argue that there are teams that are not in the NBA playoffs that are as good as some of the teams playing. No, they're not. No, they're not. On paper, they might be. But who gets here is who's playing the best. In Indiana, who a lot of people are sleeping on, could win it all, literally. If they play to their max. It's who's playing the best and who is healthiest. We lost Boston, who everybody thought would be a repeat champ, including myself, because of Jason Tatum, him going down. But mind you, I think that the Knicks would have beat the Boston Celtics with Jason Tatum because they got off, and you fall into a 2-0 hole, it's just hard to get out. Oklahoma City Thunder can tell you about that, giving away that first game like they did. It's just hard to get out. It's hard to recover when you fall in a hole at the house. Just really, really difficult. You need to win those home games. But to be a champion, you also have to win on the road. But we gave up the home court advantage in the very first game, so we've been struggling ever since. Do I expect us to beat Denver tomorrow? Yes. It's going to be very difficult, though, because we're playing against the greatest player in the game, and I think if anybody wants to argue about that, let's start right now. What Jokic did the other night in that loss, he's just I don't know how to gauge him, because when there are those who's already saying he's already broken into the top 10. Skill wise, yes, but you know I need him to have some more championships. I think for him to be considered a top 10 player at this point.
Every top 10 all time.
Yeah, top 10 all time. Every top 10 all time player that you can think of has multiple NBA championships. Every one of the top 10 that you want to name has multiple NBA championships. He has one. Is he likely to get another? Yeah, probably. With his skill set, they get another serious baller in there, and they can win it this year. Now, Aaron Gordon is supposedly hurt. He pulled a hammy the other night.
Mm-hmm.
If Aaron Gordon is in any way disabled against Oklahoma City, they lose for sure, because he is so key to what they do. He is, to me, one of the most underrated power forwards in the game. It's not the most glamorous position. I think Giannis dominates that position, but NBA is now positionless basketball because LeBron and KD used to be threes, and now they're fours. Essentially.
Let's see what Brother Mshinda have to say from what's been said already. Brother Mshinda?
Well, speaking on the, the argument or the debate about Brunson and Curry, I look at it as, again, I'm in agreement with Brother Roberts. I'm on the playground and I'm picking Curry first, and not to take anything away from Brunson, and I'm not going to speak on that too long, but again, Brunson is a beast, and he's proven himself, to be the nucleus of that team. Um, they got to win some championships and things like that. There's a lot of players that are great, that are good, that can ball. We could talk about a lot of them. Brunson's been getting the spotlight. New York. They earned the playoff. They about to on the brink of doing something. Personally, but at the end of the day, Curry got some rings. Curry makes other people work. Curry, the type of person you bring some help, in some role playing positions, then he turns into Superman out there and takes over. But he has to play with some role players. It does seem that Brunson, he takes over and does a lot by himself. So he has a lot of individual talent. Versus and he actually motivates the others to play. But again, I would pick Curry first. As far as just the game, Jokic and all those guys, it's a whole different game than the way it used to be played. They got all these different Euro steps and different. The game has been stretched out. The 3-pointer is more, prevalent than ever, and it adds to the excitement of the game and things like that. Referees are more involved in the game and controlling the game, and so it's a different. I heard Kevin Garnett on one. You guys might have heard it. I think he was saying, I think it was Kevin Garnett. He was saying a lot of these guys that you see today that are really prolific, they couldn't hang, in back in, 25, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 30, 25 years ago, whole nother game. You trying to go through the hole, you get your nose broke, he said, you get your neck broke trying to do some of the things that, the players were doing. But that's what they were allowed to get away with, So anyway, I look at it as entertainment, and so far, I like to give it a pretty decent rating, the whole playoffs, because it gives me a chance to look at these smaller markets. I think personally, I work with a guy currently, and he's from Indiana, and I told him about 2 weeks ago. I said, "Man, Indiana gonna win the championship, man." And he said, "You think so?" And he doesn't have the ultimate confidence because he's been let down. And I'm just guessing. Don't get me wrong. I told a few weeks ago, I said the Lakers, they gonna be right there. Well, I know they didn't have a center, but and the law of averages was against me. But I don't care who's on my team. Let's just do this. So we got LeBron and we got Luca. Let's go out here and defy the odds. Let's do it anyway. And so it didn't work. So off to the next season. That's what I do. I got my, it's off to the next round. But to close it out though, I think Indiana, they've been playing very well. Oklahoma, I agree. I think at home they should close that out. I think Denver's going to be a little wore out. The brother is, he's been hurt for a while with different injuries. This Aaron Gordon, but he's a workhorse, and he's gonna play, and he's gonna give it his all, just like who was that? Murray. Was it Murray?
Mm-hmm.
Murray been sick and all this and that. He said, "Oh yeah, I'm playing. I got to, these are professionals, so you got to play. You have to play. You remember when you was a kid playing, basketball in your backyard or wherever you play, you twist your ankle. You sit down for a few minutes and you back playing. You're not out for the day. You want to play. You want to keep playing. So these guys get paid and they're professionals. And so I think that's going to, but I think the injuries and the fatigueness and all that is going to, at that fourth quarter and that crunch time is going to come to a head. And I think, that Oklahoma will prevail and they'll see Indiana. I don't think Minnesota, I don't think they're going to make it as far as to the big dance, but Indiana, Oklahoma, and that'll be an exciting championship, I think, for everybody to watch. I'm done.
All right. We want to go with Rick right quick, and then we circle back to Ronnie and Kyle. Rick, you got to unmute, Rick. Okay, I guess we'll come back to him. Go ahead, Ronnie.
Interesting take about Brother Mshinda. I think the Knicks are slightly favored over Indiana, and the only reason I probably would go with the Knicks is they have home court advantage. Nothing else. Nothing else. I don't see that much separation between the two teams. The one X factor that I've seen in the last two games with the Knicks is Mitchell Robinson. I'm shocked at how good a player he is because I've never really got to see him, and I've been watching this game really closely for many, many years. But this is really the first time I've got to see Mitchell Robinson play extended minutes, and he is everything that the Knicks need from Cat, except the offense, obviously. He is a great defensive player. He's a great big dude, and he can switch on point guards, wing players. He makes the Knicks a whole complete different team with the minutes he gets on the floor. Because he is a defensive menace. He plays the passing lanes, he rebounds, he protects the rim, and he gives Cat a breather. And Cat needs it. Cat's not a great defender. Cat's not even a good defender. In fact, Cat is a poor defender when you get right down to it. An excellent rebounder, but just a poor defender. And I don't know if that's effort. Because he has good lateral quickness. I don't know what's going on with him on defense. But he just doesn't play at his level. Cat has MVP type skill set if he would play defense hard. But Mitchell Robinson is a perfect complement, and he gives the Knicks a whole new added dimension because they got great wing defenders in Adam Boy and Mikal Bridges. We know what Mr. Brunson can do. He's in a class of his own. Josh Hart, another man the Lakers gave away for nothing, is like a Swiss Army knife. He does some of everything. He's a leading rebounder at 6'4". Well, no, he's not. Cat is the leading rebounder, but he's the leading rebounder in the playoffs. And he just does everything every night. He doesn't need the ball ever. Playing good defense, filling the passing lanes when they're running. He's the type player that every team needs to win. Can the Knicks beat Indiana? Sure. Now the other series, Oklahoma City and Denver, we'll know about that after tomorrow night. As we pretty much agree that OKC has the home court advantage. What will they do if they possibly get to Minnesota? They split with Minnesota this year. Minnesota has a 10-7 overall record against them in the last 4 years. Cat has been dominant, but most of that was done with Karl-Anthony Towns being on Minnesota. And they split this year, so we'll see. That should be a really good series. Two of the NBA's premium wing players with Ant-Man and Shea. And I just don't want to get ahead of myself because Denver can win this thing tomorrow. Just because they have the best player in the whole entire world. He could just go crazy. And if he gets Jamal Murray's been doing this thing. I don't know if you guys know Jamal Murray, Lou Dort, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander have known each other since they were kids. All three of them are Canadians. They all played on the Canadian Olympic team. They all have camps back in Canada every year, which they all participate in. So we're talking about close, childhood friends, literally. These guys are huge in Canada. But, I mean, when you get between the lines, there are no friends. And Jamal Murray, to me, is the best guard that has never made an All-NBA team or never made a turn All-Star. In the playoffs, he is ridiculous. I mean, he is just flat out, and he's a lot bigger than, and he's 6'4", doing what he does. And he's not only is he a good passer, we know he can score the ball, but he's a decent defender and a willing defender, and plays hard. That performance by him the other night, you talking about the guy coming off the bench, that was huge. But Jamal Murray has been killing us. We don't have an answer for him. But I don't think anybody else in the league does either. There's no answer for great players. You don't stop great players. Great players have off days. You just don't stop them. So it's a toss-up. But the one key thing, we're gonna have a brand new champion. First time in 50 years, somebody's gonna win the NBA championship, which is a good thing for the league.
I agree. I agree that all 5 teams have an argument to win. You start with New York. I like how you said Robinson is the reason you're able to give up Julius Randle and have someone step in and take his position, and that doesn't demand the ball. Right now, you have in the Knicks, you have 2 players, Robinson and Hart, who don't demand the ball, which allows Brunson and Cat to flow more freely on the offense. Cat in Minnesota had to defer to. You got Conley bringing up the ball to give to him. Then you got to defer to Ant-Man. And we all. I think everyone saw in Minnesota that was Ant-Man's team. He was taking over. They're coming to him after the games. He's at the end of the game. He's the one that coaches are running plays for, and all these. So it was Ant-Man's team, and now you have Randall there, I think Randall was hurt part of the season. A lot of the season, Randall was hurt. So now he's getting to play, and he's realizing when Ant-Man is off the floor, I can step in and be that offensive player. I can be the number one now. And you have that. So Minnesota has, they've been counted out since round 1. Like the man said, as Laker fans, we all counted Minnesota out, and they showed us wrong. Warrior fans, until Steph went down, that first game, everyone, I think the first game the only game, one of the only games that Golden State won was because everyone looked and saw that Ant-Man didn't come to play. When he comes to play, it's a different. He's a different player. He reminds me. I'm not putting him up there with him, but he reminds me of Jordan. I'm going to take over a game. I'm going to. There's like Butler when he was with the Heat. I'm going to will victories from my team. I'm going to, because you look at Minnesota, and if you put any of the other stars, to me, Shea, Joker, Brunson, if you put them on Minnesota with the team that they have, would they still be in the playoffs? And to me, like that's I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no with the players that they have. Older Conley and all this. So Ant-Man is doing something different. Dort in OKC, he has to step up. You can't have Shea there. You have to be the guy that neutralizes Jamal Murray or someone else. You have to give your team about Game 7. You got to give them about. You have to have 20. You have to be up there with. They have to look at you in this Game 7 and say, okay, it's not just Shea, it's not just Chet. We got to get Dort out there too. He's been the number 2 all season long, averaging 20, made the All-Star game. And
no, you're talking about J-Dub.
Yes, yeah, I'm sorry, yes.
Yeah, J-Dub, who has been extremely disappointing.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
He hadn't showed up.
Yes, that's the
Period.
one I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes,
You're talking about J-Dub. He has not showed up.
And he has to. He need like they a lot has been put on him, and you know they've done it right. OKC has done it right. You drafted well, and there's a lot of players that this season. I think even Jalen Green, from Houston. If you didn't show up, there's a lot of invested in you. From Denver, Michael Porter Jr. You know, there's a lot invested in you, and you haven't shown up.
Not at all.
You got next year. They may not be on the team. You can use them as collateral to get someone else to be that number 2 on those teams based on how they've been playing in this playoff. So, and then you get to Indiana and Halliburton, once again, another player underrated, called the most overrated. And you get him and Siakam have been playing together. This is their year together, you know, and they have a chance. Yeah, they're another team to me like OKC that has been together for a while, you know, and they're starting to gel because people have underestimated them, and they have offense. They have offense. These are very good offensive teams where the stars of their teams know when SGA, all the stars. Let me say everyone from the Joker, Brunson, SGA, Halliburton, Ant-Man, they all know when to score. They all know when to keep their teams in the game. Like, and that is something that you're not getting from a lot of people who try to be stars of games. Like, we're down by 6. Okay, I'm gonna make sure we're not down by 10. You know, we're still in the games. Even in the Knicks being down by 20, you know, to still keep watching these games is because someone is there saying we can win these games. You know, all of them. Indiana versus Milwaukee, down, game not over. You know, we're not pulling the starters. You know, so all is OKC coming back. Denver was up. Denver, if these were regular season games, Denver would have put this series away because they were up by 10, I think, with 5 or 6 in 2 of those games that they lost, and OKC didn't give up. You know, so you had like I'm just excited because I agree. 50 years, any team, any of these 5, there's any of the 5 teams left can win the championship.
I totally agree.
Rick?
Hey, what's going on, gentlemen?
All right.
Sorry about
No, sir.
sorry about that. I had some technical difficulties with my phone. I can only see half of the screen. Well, it's going back and forth, but yeah, I had some technical difficulties. I got a cracked screen, which is probably going to cost me a fortune unless I buy a new phone, which is going to cost me a fortune. But you know how that is. But yeah, actually, to tail back to the Lakers, yeah, it appears they really never had a chance. You know, you're missing a big man, so you probably really didn't have a chance. Even though I know we talked before, I said I kind of like their chances to as far as liking their chances to be in the playoffs. I couldn't guarantee they was going to win. Of course, nobody could guarantee that. But I know last time we were talking, and Bobby was saying Jackson Hayes doesn't make Doncic better. But I think you still needed him out there because he had some young fast legs. Doncic, they kind of wore out his legs by having him chase people back down court. Actually, he's not going to be able to run with the rest of them. But nevertheless, they lost, and I don't want to say they deserve to lose, maybe so, but yeah, they lost. They didn't have the firepower really, but we thought Boston. So I guess we was looking at their experience, but even Bobby said if you can shut down uh, Tatum and Brown, then they'd be in trouble. And we actually saw that even before Tatum got hurt when they both went for like 1 for 7 or something like that. So that was on point right there. Uh, Indiana. Indiana have some tools that most of us on the West Coast we probably haven't seen. They got some firepower. They got some deep firepower on the bench too.
Mm-hmm.
They play defense.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a problem for Denver. You can probably see where I'm going with that. Uh, they're going to be a problem for anybody they play against because they're willing to play defense. This guy Nemhard is a pure shooter, pure.
I'm out. I'm out. What are we saying? Denver.
Uh, I'm looking at
Saying Denver
Indiana.
gonna win?
Uh,
You saying Denver gonna win?
uh, this is a possibility. It's a possibility, but still, I don't discount Ant and his squad. But I mean, it's good to see. Uh, what's his name? It's good to see Rudy getting a little tougher down low. He still don't have the foot quickness to stay in front of some cats, but as a center. But Indiana is dangerous. Neesmith, Nimhard, Halliburton, obviously, and their big guys are willing to play defense and continuous defense. Um, I do have an issue with Minnesota's big men. They they big, but they don't appear to be too athletic. You know,
Who's that?
um,
Who?
Who was not
uh,
athletic? Jaden McDaniels,
uh,
Julius Randle. They're not athletic.
oh no, Julius is fine.
What about Jaden McDaniels? All first team defense last year. Ain't
I
gonna be
like
able to win. And
I
he's
like
6'9".
McDaniels. I like McDaniels. Who's the
Extremely
center?
athletic.
Yeah, actually, I was kind of referring to. You know what? I'm tripping. I'm
Thank
I'm putting I'm putting New York's big man in there. I'm tripping. But yeah, I like Minnesota. It's New York that have a problem with their big men. They're not athletic. Both of them are not athletic.
Mitchell Robinson is not athletic.
Say again.
Mitchell Robinson is not athletic. Out there covering ones and twos at 7 foot.
He's kind of athletic, but I guess they
Kinda.
don't have. I guess they don't have enough fire.
Yeah, now that I might have to go for. Yeah.
But if you look at the way they block shots, they really don't get off the ground.
No.
They
Cause
and
cat
if you
doesn't
look at
block shots.
yeah, and if you look at their they don't really get off the ground. They they trot down court. They never sprint down court. They 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 don't have the foot. I think Rudy Gobert has more foot quickness than them, and he don't have any foot quickness. But I don't know. I like Indiana. They got some big man. I can't say Miles is super athletic, but he still blocks shots and play defense.
Stays in
Uh,
foul trouble though.
yeah, and I don't know. I like their firepower, even coming off the bench. But like you said, I like McDaniel. I mean, he's a very slim dude, uh, but I like him. He knows how to score. He's young. Um, And of course, like you guys say, Anthony Anderson is a beast. Julius Randle is a beast. Uh, you know, it'll take a lot to stop those guys. But Indiana has some good defense, and then you still have to deal with Denver, who I think if you play Jokic, if you play Joker right, you can kind of neutralize them. I'm trying to think who else. I mean, and Gordon has been playing well. I mean, I never thought Gordon would get to this point where he's almost close to being unstoppable. I can't say he's really unstoppable, but you know, Gordon
Who's
didn't
that?
have that.
Who's
Gordon,
guard?
yeah,
For Denver?
for Denver.
Okay.
Aaron
I'm sorry,
Gordon.
I'm sorry, I'm
Yeah.
jumping teams like this, but yeah, Gordon. That I mean, he didn't come in the league with that shot, but he has a lot of confidence in it now. So
Rick,
that's a big
Rick, hardly any of these guys
plus for
came
Denver.
into the league with the shots they have
Right.
now.
Right.
Him and
Everybody's
Randall,
shots got better.
same draft. Him and Randall, same draft. I thought they were. I wanted Gordon over Randall. We got Randall, but because Orlando picked Gordon, I think at number 4, and we had the number 7 pick, and we got Julius Randall. So, but same player at the same time.
Both of them can shoot it. Yeah.
Yeah, same player at that time. Just all just bully ball. It was bully ball when
Right.
he came out of college.
They
Exactly.
developed those shots in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Cat
Yeah.
wasn't shooting like that at Kentucky.
Yeah, I do think Gordon could shoot better than Randall. But I don't know. We'll see. Indiana looks very dangerous right now, which is, and like I was saying last time we talked, there's some hungry young guys out there, and Indiana appears to be the most hungry out of all the young squad.
I have a question, sir. This is a question. With the teams that Indiana play, right? So you get the Knicks that play Boston. They play the hungry Detroit team. Hungry and young. But Indiana plays a wounded Milwaukee team. And then they play a Cleveland team that was number 1, but no one really really expected Cleveland to be like who Cleveland was, right? And then that
Sure.
Cleveland team, they were injured. It was Garland was down. There was a game where I think Mobley was 1, maybe 2 games. And it was just Mitchell. It was they looked good and they did what they're supposed to do to wounded teams. But I mean, if you look at Denver happened to play the Clippers, Minnesota taking out the Lakers and the Warriors, OKC beating destroying the Grizzlies. Of all of the teams, I think Indiana has had, from my point of view, the softest path to where they are at right now. If you look at the teams that the other teams had to play to make it there, I think Indiana has had a softer route than a lot of definitely the Knicks. They had a softer route than Denver. You know, so like Denver has had to play there's some tough teams it was tough teams in the West. But if you go to the East, I think the Knicks are more battle tested than Indiana right now when it comes to playoff basketball this year.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, of course, you can't consider it a cakewalk what Indiana went through, but definitely the West had some beast that you had to climb through to get to the top.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just a different. Indiana is just showing a different type of fire for some young guys. You know, and I think that's a plus that they're young. I think it's a plus that they're hungry. I think it's a plus that they got some major firepower, and we'll see if that firepower continues. I mean, you're absolutely right. You got to deal with Julius Randle and Edwards, and then McDaniels and deal with Goldberg as a big center who seems like he might be ready to play now. That's tough. Jokic is always going to be tough to deal with. I'm thinking Miles Turner and the other big guy could give him some problems. But we'll see. We'll see. I still like the game faces that Indiana is bringing. Yeah. So those are kind of my thoughts on it.
Well, we'll definitely see.
Yeah.
It's gonna come to fruition.
Definitely.
Starting with that game tomorrow, right?
Right.
See who moves on. Well, Ronnie, take us home.
I think, well, at this point, the big game is tomorrow, Oklahoma City and Denver. I'm giving us the edge just because we're at home. Our second best player has let us down throughout the playoffs. He had one good game against Denver when he scored 32 points and we lost that game because Jokic went crazy. If we can, as I told my girlfriend before the playoffs began, if J-Dub will get his average during the playoffs, which is 21.6, we win it all. Period. He is averaging like 16 points a game. Really feel bad for the kid because I know he's trying his darndest, and I know it's weighing heavy on him because he let us down in the playoffs last year against Dallas. And even the year before, he didn't show up. He wasn't such a glorified player then, but now he's an NBA All-Star. I didn't think he should have been an All-Star this year. I thought D Book should have had that spot in the All-Star game, averaging 25 points, playing along with KD and being one of the premier players and a certain Hall of Famer in my mind. But that's a different story. He got an All-Star game because he had a good season, because Oklahoma City had a tremendous record. I don't know if you guys know this, but Oklahoma City lost one game against the East all year in overtime at Cleveland. They were 29-1 against the East. They swept 22 Eastern Conference teams. They had a tremendous record, but what have they done? What is the chink in their armor other than being the very youngest team in the NBA? They have gotten exposed in the playoffs because their number 2 player didn't live up to his billing. That Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's going to get his. Jokic is going to get his. Brunson is going to get his. Halliburton is going to show up every night for Indiana. Ant-Man's going to show up, and he's been really not showing up in the first half and coming through in the second half. The stars will be stars, but it's that, Kyle said it best, it's that second guy and what you get from that bench. Jalen Williams has not been up to par for Oklahoma City. He has not been the player he was during the regular season. If he even approaches that level of play tonight and moving forward, we can win it all. Who would I put my money on right now to win the whole thing? You can usually almost always go with what Vegas says. I think if Vegas was seeding it, I know that Indiana would be 4th. If in Vegas a seed, you'll see it after the game tomorrow. I would imagine that whoever wins between Oklahoma City and Denver will get the first seed.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
The second seed will be the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
The third seed,
Minnesota,
and the fourth seed will be Indiana. And that's how Vegas will come out with it. Vegas is, you want to make bets and take your heart out of the game. Just look at Vegas. They usually get it right. And it's just amazing how they get it right, but they get it right because that's where the money goes. But I'm still thinking that the winner of this championship is going to come out of the West. the West was clearly superior to the East, with the exception of Boston. And we all knew all along, all year, that Cleveland, something about them wasn't just right. What really killed them was Darius Garland's toe injury, because Darius Garland is a dynamic player, absolutely dynamic. Then Evan Mobley misses a key game that they lose. So, you know, we didn't see the real Cleveland, the healthy Cleveland that we saw during the year. I think they would have been better. We didn't see the real healthy Boston that we saw during the year, because it's a case for both of those teams battling each other, but one of them would have been eliminated. I think Boston, on paper, was still the best team in the league on paper, but they lost Porzingis. He's been gone. He's been gone forever. Drew Holiday took a step back this year. He's getting old. He's 34 years old. I mean, he took a step back, and they don't run plays for him, and he's not really aggressive as far as his offense is concerned. And his offense is really good. You know, he's known as a defensive player, but he can shoot the ball. He can drive to the hoop.
He's not a 3-point shooter, which is what their
all.
system is. Their system is just shoot a three, and that's not his game.
That's not his game. That's not his game. That's why Derek White flourishes in that system better than him. Because Derek White probably is their most reliable 3-point shooter other than Peyton Pritchard. So
Agreed.
it's a crapshoot at this point. I mean, I'm gonna go with whoever comes out of the West, but they could easily lose. We don't know. No one knows. No one knows. Now that we got teams out of these old teams, the Lakers and the Warriors, so flawed. Our heart's with the Lakers, man, but my heart has been with them all year, but my mind has never been with them. They are so flawed, and they're gonna be flawed again next year. Us Laker fans better get ready for that, because there ain't no centers out there that can make a difference. That no one's. I mean, they're salary capped. They got two $50 million ball players. Then they got three $20 million ball players. How do they pay somebody? How do they get a good center? They're not going to be good again next year. And as LeBron, you got a 41-year-old man taking up $50 million of your salary cap, who's still a great player. But, I mean, come on. You got to get some youth in there. And Luka ain't the youth. Luka is 26 going on 38. Got my line to anybody in here? So for us Laker fans, and I count myself as being one, it's gonna be a hard road for us to hold, because these young boys ain't playing. Somebody else is gonna come up. Orlando's waiting for one more player to get relevant.
Yes.
San Antonio, I don't know who they're gonna draft. They could be a beast. Dallas, definitely be back in the playoffs next year with AD healthy, even without Kyrie. And getting Cooper Flag. So it's good for the game. Dynasties are over. Health, age, and salary cap kill dynasties. So let's see some new blood being an NBA champion this year. That's it for me.
All right, fellas. We're going to come back and do it again.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do it again a week from
Very
now.
informative, folks.
Get some of these first rounds out of the way. Guys, Rick, Kyle, Mshinda, thank you for your good words. Thank you for showing up. Please come back.
Okay. Yes. Everybody have a good day.
All right.
Hey, before we check out, I wanted to say Cleveland might have had the most athletic big man in the league. What y'all think?
You talking about Mobley?
Mobley?
Yeah. What happened to Mobley?
More than Giannis? Over Giannis?
Most athletic big man in basketball is Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I'm like, that's what I'm saying.
And ain't even no second.
Over Giannis.
It's no second. Giannis is a monster. Only player in the league I take over Jokic.
Yeah, well, I mean, like the guys who play the big man position, like your centers or your power forward center.
Yeah, Giannis.
Giannis is all that, and then some.
Is he playing power forward, or
he's a 4, but he's a 4 and a 5. He's like Duncan. He's a 4 by definition, but he will maul most people's centers.
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean, it just
I
wear
agree.
them out.
But I'm talking about as far as your rim protectors.
Giannis
You
does
know,
that.
Mm-hmm.
He does it
you
all.
know, not because Giannis he's a freak,
He's a freak.
Yeah,
as we
yeah.
know. His
Giannis,
nickname.
Giannis is asked to do more than Mobley.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's
Right.
the big difference in it.
He got to score the ball.
Mobley's young, but he's not asked to do as much as Giannis, so he's given a particular role. Giannis has to run the team, which is a big difference.
Yeah.
Like Mobley can, he missed the
Play
game.
defense and help.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
And that's and that's kind of what I'm talking about. Somebody who truly plays the big man position. Somebody who's truly the center of the team. Not like a Giannis who plays everything. I mean, like,
well, remember they have Allen too. Cleveland
well,
has Allen.
who?
I think they're going to trade him.
Cleveland has was it
Jared Allen? Jared Allen.
And that's what I'm talking about. It seemed like they have the most athletic big men in the league as far as true big men at that position.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to think of another team who has a true center true centers that are athletic. That's in the playoffs. I know Lively is pretty athletic, but as far as in the playoffs, those are the most.
Miles Turner's pretty athletic.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
Who's that?
Yes.
Who's that?
Miles Turner for Indiana. But he just stays in foul trouble. And who is the Indiana's backup center? Name him.
Okay.
Name him. That's why Indiana's going to lose. Miles Turner stays in foul trouble, and they don't have a true backup center.
Yeah, that's true.
But they got a deep bench. They got Benedict Mathurin coming off that bench. They got Obi Toppin coming off that bench.
Yes. Yeah.
They got Neesmith coming off that bench. They even got that little guy, that little guard from Arizona, TJ McConnell, coming off that bench. Man, they don't miss a beat when they go to the bench. But
exactly.
They're soft in the middle beyond Turner, and he always gets in foul trouble because he's hunting to block a shot. Really great shot blocker.
Yeah, and then you got Nembhard.
He hunts that. He doesn't let it come to him, and he makes unnecessary fouls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but they go small and they're tough. Yeah, they're tough.
Like Towns gets unnecessary fouls.
Yes,
all the time.
Yeah, and it just hurts him.
And he falls away way too much. Attack the basket hard.
He's in love with that three ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He need to attack the basket, make everything a dunk if he have to. He's a big, strong dude.
He loves that three ball because he's the best big man shooter in the game.
Yes.
By far. So he loves it.
Yeah.
But he's not been successful in the playoffs. They've taken it away.
Yeah. But
Which is a flaw for New York.
Yeah, I just wanted to put that out there, not to extend the live, but sorry about that.
Don't be.
Yeah.
Don't be.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen, enjoy your day.
All right, brother. All right. You guys take care.
All right.